Welcome to Classic Car Cave. So this is part 2 of the XJ6 here, a 1970. Now this car, I don't have the paperwork on it right now. Martin, my neighbour up the road, is going to bring it down, but he's owned it for the last 17 years. And when he bought the car, it had been refurbished. It had a new interior and everything else put in it. I think it was then, I'm not sure. What I'll do is I'll up to date this when I get all the paperwork from him. It's all in Vienna, and he's going to bring it down here where his country house is, like ours. But what I can tell you at the moment is, at the moment on the kilometres on this, not miles, kilometres, is under 7,000, so 6,960 something, I believe it is. Now that has been since the car was refurbished, and what happened was this car is an original 2.8, and they only made I think 19,000 of them, but the 2.8s were very underpowered, and obviously before he bought the car had a redone engine in it. The gearbox obviously was changed, all the running gear was changed for 4.2. IRS would have been exactly the same apart from the differential. In fact, that was done not so long ago when I did a video in 2017, I think it was, where Amir and I took out the IRS on this car to get the diff out to send away to have done. And you know, so this is how I know the car and I know how good it is underneath. What the original mileage was, because obviously the speeder had to be changed because it was a 2.8 and now it's a 4.2. The gearing would have been different. So it was a brand new speedo and odometer, and as I said, he's done in 17 years, he's done 6,900 odd Ks, which works out about 411, 412 Ks a year. It's nothing, and this is why he's moving it on. So to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, the deal is right now, if I want this car from him, I offered him 8,000 euros, which is 6,600 pounds. Now that's a kind of middle, it's about middle. Now you can pick these up in very poor condition for 2 or 3 grand, and really good ones go up to 20, 25. You know, so you've got to look at it all, you know, from a perspective of, you know, what you think you're getting or what you're not getting. But I do know the car. If I was to buy a car like this, say for instance in Germany, if I wanted a left-hand drive, even worse from the UK, but I wanted a left-hand drive, say from Germany or somewhere else outside Austria, it would probably cost me a couple of thousand to get it through the turf, because in Austria you have to have it go through a mechanical check. It's just had a brand new test on it, and believe me, in Austria, I know because I've lived here for many years, getting a car through the test here is not like it is in a lot of places. They're very, very tough. I mean, they even check the brake fluid here to make sure the moisture content is not too high. So they're very, very tight on it. So I know the car's in good condition. As I said, I've gone back to front on it, so I know it. There are some things that need doing on this car, but the deal is right now is, this is what he's asked, this is what I've offered him. And I think that's a reasonable price for what he's put into it. Not that that makes any difference, but what it's worth to me. And as I said, if it wasn't a person like me that could do the work themselves, the painting and this, that, and the next thing, yeah, you know, it would be economically probably not that good. It depends how much you think. But my thinking is as I said, this comes with 2 new rear wings, OEM rear wings, which you can't buy anymore. Now, obviously me finding somebody, and these rear wings don't need replacing, but he bought them 10 or 12 years ago because somebody said to him, you know, they do rot on the arches, which is very true. So he bought them, and they're still in the packing. Now, if I want to sell them on, they're probably a Series 3 car, they're £2,000 plus VAT, I think. But you can't get them for these cars, so you'd have to have them made. So if I was to sell them on, but the problem with that is finding somebody who wants to pay that, and somebody who's desperate to get, because you'd have to sell them as a set. It would be crazy selling one and not the other. you could then reduce the price of this car down to probably 3,000, which would be a good deal. I mean, the engine and box alone is worth that, if not more. So this is the way I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it just from a financial point of view. I'm looking at the fact that we're getting older. You know, I'm 70 in a couple of weeks' time, and my wife's 77 in about 6 weeks' time. And our E-Type is a gorgeous car. I've had many happy years motoring in it. It's been done to the nth degree. You can literally eat your dinner off the bottom of it. But we're at a point now where, even though it's very comfortable to sit in, as I'm getting older, my hips are getting sore or back, even though the seats are very good. We're not using it like we used to. We kind of get into a situation where Martin is with this, where he never uses it, just gets a test on it every year. And it's not good for the car, it's certainly not good for the E-Type. And the other problem with the E-Type convertible, as beautiful as it looks and drives, there's very little luggage room in them. So if you're going overnight, it's not so bad. But if you're going along for sort of 3 or 4 days or a week, it's very difficult because you need bags that squash into the back. And it's a fair weather car, you know. Any convertible with a hood up is not as nice as it is with the hood down, obviously. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, there's quite a few things. I need to go over the history of this, but I need the paperwork. So I'll do a part 3 when I've got that history and I know exactly where I am. I mean, maybe the original car did 100,000 kilometers, which is only 75,000 miles, which is nothing. I don't know what it is, but I wouldn't think a car in this condition, looking the way it does, I mean, I can even see where it's been polished, where it's going through the paintwork. But my feeling with this car is I would run this for a year the way it is. If there's anybody out there that would like to buy it and somebody comes up with a better deal than 8,000 euros, plus all the equipment with it, fine, you know, let me know and I'll put it to him, because I wouldn't take it from him if they could get more money for it. I think that's only fair. But what I would do with it is run it for a year as it is, and then next year I would take it off the road and I would respray it. I don't like the white, it looks like a limousine or a wedding car. To me, with the red interior in this car, the perfect scenario would be opalescent silver grey, which is exactly what my Series 1 E-Type is, and it's a beautiful colour and would match the red. So that's what I would do. Obviously I'd fix the louvers, any panel work that had to be done, and obviously the car would have to be stripped down to quite a bit, because obviously the doors would have to come up to get the door checks, and probably the engine and box out as well, because you wouldn't be able to get into the engine bay. But I think this would look really nice in opalescent silver grey, which, as I said, is the same as the E-Type. Sitting on choke just now, but it's a bit hard to change gear into some. Hang on, hang on a second. As I say, sitting on the choke just now. You can hear the suspension's beautiful on it. Oh. It's a bit cold. It's been sat for since summer last year. It pulls like a rocket when just missing a bit there. The choke's still on. I'll just turn around here at this chicken farm. I'll put you back on in a second. Come on, can I get round in one go? There we go. First gear. For you, it's pretty good. Oh, let's get in gear. There we go. It's a bit hard to do it left hand. It's got some legs on it. And the wind is open as well, so it's pretty smooth. Really nice gearbox on it, smooth as silk, so is the engine. Just take it up to my garage, because that power steering makes it so much easier. In fact, no, I'll to take the Mini out first. Runs off the key, no sweat. Can't ask for better than that. Right, there we go. So I get the Mini out, pop this on. Good. Bugger. So a little bit more tricky to reverse it onto it, but it fits and I can get it as high as I like now. It's just that the tail, the boot area on this is so big, so the only way to actually get it on and lift it high enough is to reverse it on. So just to let you into the kind of future plans here is, unfortunately this is really dusty as well, they all are. We should be getting the turf on this soon, which is a mechanical check that I have to do and register it in Austria. There's a few little things missing. The wiper motor, which I bought brand new, I had it restored, a new fuel gauge, and the tonne, which I have to pick up in March, and then we'll get it turfed and we'll be using it hopefully in the summer. But this car is so much easier to get in and out of, and it's got quite a big boot in it. So we can go away for a week, 2 weeks in this car, whereas unfortunately with the E-Type, that was a different story. As gorgeous as the car is, you putting luggage in is a bit of a problem. A lot of people put boot racks on them, but I think it spoils the line of the E-Type. But this will be our main convertible car for the summertime, and I'm really looking forward to it. And with the power assisted steering we put in this, what a difference. I really noticed that when I drove the XJ6, that power steering is so, it's definitely the way to go, especially when you're older. And really you should go for automatics, but I do like a manual car, I have to say. So just to finish up, this is my 1966 E-Type Series 1, it's the 4.2, and I built this car basically from the ground up. It was a 4 or 5 year restoration. I've done about 8,000 kilometers in it, which is a shame really, but we're not using the car now, and it's a shame to just leave them and not use them. It doesn't do them any good. So I will be putting this up for sale, and I will do a video probably over next week and go over the car, talk about its history. If you're interested in something like this, I do have a video called Jaguar E-Type Restoration, 4 years in 4 minutes. That's the number 4, and it's called 4 years in 4 minutes, and it's a 4-minute video showing how bad the car was when I got it and the amount of work I've done to it. Unfortunately, the market being the way it is right now, I don't need the money to buy this. That's not the issue. The issue is that my wife and I are not using it, and it's just a shame to leave the car there. I'm kind of reluctant to sell it, but to be honest, we're not using it anymore. After a bit of a journey, I'm getting old and it's a bit harder to get in and out of. And obviously the other issue is as I said, if you're a young person, you can put everything in soft bags and put it down behind the seats, and you can get a small case in the boot. But it's a gorgeous car, but I will do a full video on it, because this car warrants, unfortunately it's a bit dusty, but it warrants being used. It's a great car, it goes like a bat out of hell, and yeah, it deserves better. So on that note, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care everybody, be good to each other.